In the past several decades, the desire for increased security in public spaces in the United States has grown. This is also true of private spaces, including workplaces and schools. Mass shootings have increased in the United States since the 1960s, exploding in frequency since the mid 90s. Since the 90s, many schools have implemented more advanced ways to attempt to prevent or mitigate school shootings. The introduction of metal detectors, cameras, and school resource officers are all ways in which schools have attempted to make themselves safer. In the modern day of edge computing, many people are attempting to utilize it for preventing these shootings as well. AI facial recognition and weapon detection are two of the main ways in which schools, offices, and even public places are attempting to prevent mass casualty events. In this video, I'll examine the use of emerging AI technologies in terms of preventing, predicting, and assessing threats. More specifically, I will be looking at this with a fixation on safety at schools in the United States. First, we will look at predictive policing and threat assessment tools. These are systems that claim to identify risks before potential violence occurs. Secondly, we will look at AI weapon detection systems, which provide real-time threat monitoring. Both of these systems promise safety, but carry significant ethical trade-offs. We will compare these dilemmas through the lens of fairness, privacy, and accountability. Let's begin with predictive systems. In the past several years, schools across the states have adopted tools that claim to detect threats before they become active. These proactive technologies include facial recognition and individual classroom surveillance. Before we dive too deep into these systems, let's talk about predictive versus reactive systems. To be truly predictive, you must find the threat before it becomes active. Many companies that provide school security claim to be predictive, especially some of the weapons detection companies that I will talk about later. The Department of Homeland Security even took issue with these claims, releasing a report about one company stating, "Evaluators wonder if these critical seconds before Zero Eyes, the company, alerts first responders may result in the system taking too long to be effective in detection and alerting." Essentially, many of these systems are mainly reactive, not predictive. Many AI weapon detection companies can agree that this line is blurred. For example, if a gun is detected outside of a school before shots are fired, that may be deemed proactive. Overall, understanding the importance of this distinction is important in the context of providing safety at schools. An early example of facial recognition in schools for predictive threat assessment is a program called SAFR, or SAFR, by a company named Real Networks. In 2018, SAFR offered schools free facial recognition software specifically designed for recognizing adults on campus. Teachers, staff, and parents could register their face at a check-in station, usually an iPad or another tablet, at the entrance of the building.
Smart, advanced technology to help with school safety. SAFR from Real Networks is highly accurate facial recognition software that matches faces in real time to streamline entry and check-in.
Students that were expelled at higher grades could also be added into the system. This registration will add their face to the school's database, and if a face that was unregistered was detected on a school's camera, the school would get an alert. This approach avoided using children's faces, as the AI software also included an age estimation feature, potentially used to avoid capturing and saving children's faces. However, many questions were raised in terms of privacy and consent, and what the implications were if every face near the school was scanned. Not to mention the potential burden a school could face if many teachers, staff, or parents opted out of the program or simply weren't registered yet. Would the school be alerted every time their face was detected? Fairly quickly after the SAFR program was launched, the ACLU responded to the implications of facial recognition software in schools. They claim that these systems are essentially all bark and no bite, and that they often sound more effective and protective than they truly are. They argue that these systems are easy to fool and prone to misidentification, leading to false identification quite frequently. The ACLU states that a false positive, a non-threat detected as one, would be traumatic for students and staff, and a false negative, a threat that wasn't detected, may create a false sense of security. Real Networks stopped hosting the free SAFR program not long after. The company now has moved on to larger general security via facial recognition. This includes its use on college campuses. A more recent example of a predictive system is currently taking place in Long Island, where a school district has adopted an AI-powered classroom surveillance system.
A device in every classroom and bathroom that allows students and staff to alert police in the case of an emergency.
We actually have a floor plan that is being shared with first responders in real time.
Police will also have access to the live camera feeds to help them locate the danger. This is how one school district is handling school security.
Launched by the company Xponse, this system features 2 cameras per classroom, audio monitoring, automatic door locking, and police alerts. The company claims that the cameras are only active when a lockdown protocol is activated. Staff members are given special ID badges that can activate alarms. The audio detection part of the system is the most vague, as the company simply says that they monitor for environmental hazards. This is a system that borders upon prevention and reaction. While some parts of the system are proactive and may prevent harm, others may provide a quicker reaction. This edition of the AI-powered surveillance in classrooms prompted backlash from parents. They claimed they had recently voted for more general safety improvements within schools, but they did not anticipate such a complex system. The superintendent of the school system later resigned, with reports that this controversy, especially due to the financial implications, was pivotal in the decision. Joanna Miller, director of the Education Policy Center at NYCLU, was quoted, "Raising children in an ecosystem where they are constantly under surveillance by the police department is not a direction we should be going in as a society." While these systems attempt to provide predictive measures on who may be a threat, live weapon detection focuses on what may be an active threat. AI weapon detection often uses object recognition models trained on thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of images of firearms. These models and systems can be added to existing security cameras without replacing or upgrading hardware, which makes them financially attractive to school districts with limited budgets. Most of these companies operate with systems that work in similar ways. The system detects something that's shaped like a firearm on a security camera, then sends that frame to a human reviewer. This human reviewer may be a member of the school system, an employee of the company, someone from the local police force, or another hired outside agency. This human then reviews the image and deems if a threat is truly visible. This system is built to reduce false positive within the AI models, but as we will see, errors still occur. There are several companies that provide live AI firearm detection systems. 2 of them are Zero Eyes and OmniAlert. We mentioned Zero Eyes before when talking about the distinction between predictive and reactive systems. Both of these companies work in the same way, using AI models on existing security cameras. Both companies have lobbied the government, but Zero Eyes holds the lead, as they often lobby for states to spend more dedicated money on school safety. They often lobby states to only use companies that have passed a special designation of being an anti-terrorism system, as noted by the Department of Homeland Security. Zero Eyes is one of the companies that has received that designation, therefore removing much competition. Another AI company is taking a slightly different approach. AmbientAI claims to analyze human behavior patterns using cameras in order to infer if a person is a threat. While weapon detection plays a part in this opens a broader door in the realm of detection and prevention. They make an important distinction that simply searching for concealed weapons in public places will not solve the problem, as people with authority or legality to hold a weapon would be affected. Ethically, what can someone deem as a dangerous way to behave? Other companies, such as CurvePoint AI, have initiatives to use Wi-Fi signals to map humans and potentially identify weapons. These systems claim to be able to detect weapons that are even concealed.
If you think of airport security, sometimes things still get through. So to have something that can see through backpacks and detect that weapon without us having to physically touch the backpack, it's a game changer.
A similar ethical concern arose when the New York City subway tested a weapon detection system in 2024 for 1 month. This system involved people walking through a set of detectors used for detecting guns and knives. The system was tested on nearly 3,000 people and ended up falsely alerting to over 100 people and ended up detecting 0 guns. The system detected about a dozen knives, yet it is unknown if these were illegally harnessed weapons. The company that owns this system is Evolve, who has gone through many legal problems in the past years for their failure to accurately detect weapons as they claim. Seeing these AI firearm detection systems in action may prove their use. However, the amount of false positives seem to overtake the amount of positive stories. One may think that this is due to the sensationalization of a system failing in such a way, but the companies and school systems that employ these technologies seem to hold back on releasing too many success stories. They claim that if too much information is given out about them working right, bad actors may know how to harness that information to circumvent the system. However, false positive stories are popping up more and more due to the amount of growing use of this technology. In Rochester, New York, theater students transporting prop guns were pinged by Zero Eye. Human verification confirmed the sighting of potential weapons and locked down the school. Once police arrived, they confirmed that the weapons were in fact props. Parents were upset as their students believed that an active threat was happening. The company claimed, "We don't install cameras or watch live feed. This is not surveillance." Another story out of San Antonio, Texas shows a student seemingly holding a rifle. Zero Eye's detection system alerted to it, human verification confirmed the sighting, and a lockdown was triggered. Police were sent, and nothing was found, and upon further review, it was deemed that shadows and a bush were to blame. The school system says that potential weapons are pinged often, but this is the first time a lockdown was triggered due to the convincing image. Some parents were upset by the situation, stating that they were happy that everyone was safe, but worried that a boy who cried wolf situation may occur down the line if more false positives happen. A more recent case out of Baltimore, Maryland, garnered more national attention. A young boy was leaving his school when OmniAlert's gun detection system picked up a potential weapon.
Hey, partner, did you have a gun on you?
No. What?
Do you have anything blue that looks like a gun?
No.
Where did this call come from? What?
It's the AmbientAI.
The police were dispatched, the boy and his friends were handcuffed, and the cause of the alert was discovered. The culprit? A bag of blue Doritos.
I mean, there's bags of chips and
Blue. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what it looks like right here. It looks like that.
yeah.
Family members state that they are glad the boy was unharmed in the situation, as an extreme reaction would not have been uncommon. There are mixed claims on whether the AI system correctly used human verification. A deeper dive by local news discovered that another school in the system had the same situation happen within 2 weeks, where a gun was thought to be on school grounds, though there is less public attention and less information was known. Police leaders in Baltimore say that AI systems are flawed and ask what the trade-offs are between over-policing.
When we're talking about safety of young people and getting it right every time, we have to get it right each time.
They mention how guns are often hidden when entering school, and by the time that they are visible on camera, it is too late. As stated before, these companies and school systems are hesitant to release details to events in which AI detection systems successfully stop an attack. They claim that knowledge of these events would give helpful information to potential attackers on how to avoid these systems. Zero Eye does provide in one example of an AK-47 found outside of an elementary school, yet did not provide many details about the event itself. They did confirm that no shots were fired. Sadly, there can also be failures in the opposite direction, which may be considered a false negative. Another school in Nashville, using OmniAlert, was the site of a shooting in which a 17-year-old student killed one and wounded another student before turning the gun on himself. OmniAlert claims that the cameras in the vicinity were merely too far away and at bad angles to capture the weapon. This event raised major concerns on the legitimacy and resilience of these systems in a protective setting. Ethically, there's an important pattern to discuss between all the tools mentioned. The risk of misidentifying carries a heavy weight. Historically, AI facial recognition systems and AI object recognition systems harm people and vulnerable groups disproportionately. Many researchers have discussed the issues with facial recognition software and their opaqueness. As Zarsky argues in his article, The Trouble with Algorithmic Decisions, opaque algorithmic systems mask the exact factors leading to a decision, stating that these processes create an environment in which individuals have a limited ability to question the process or submit corrections. He notes that this can create a situation in which automated decisions can reproduce bias while appearing neutral. This dynamic can be extremely harmful for high-stake edge computing scenarios. This leads into the data these systems may be training on. A study of the auditing of facial recognition technologies found limitations in baseline facial detection softwares. They found that class imbalance during auditing can lead to high misidentification for darker-skinned people, and that this is something that is deeply embedded in the technology itself. The authors note that non-representative benchmarks can inflate performance and conceal misidentification for vulnerable groups. They also mention that even well-intentioned audits are not capable of mitigating or removing bias, which can raise serious concerns for the deployment of these technologies. AI can assist us in responding to threats more quickly and can also potentially catch them before harm is done. But AI systems are not perfect, and there is plenty of evidence of that. From bias, false positives, and overall ethical concerns, what is the trade-off we're willing to take to protect ourselves and our schools? How many more false positives will it take for these systems to be the center of limitations? From wasted resources to a potential boy who cried wolf scenario, where a real situation is not taken seriously. It's lucky so far that a false positive hasn't turned deadly.
Hey, thanks for not running away. That'd have been a real problem.
This is the question we must ask. Are these technologies making us safer, or merely making us feel safer, at the cost of privacy, fairness, and trust.